need y'all to ride for me.
I will hoorah for all of y'all. This is like family. So
I will let you know. I will let you know. I know
but you can't be vague. I need to know specifics.
I didn't gather everybody's info. It was a long
I'm gonna
chain.
need that. If we're talking about how you were wronged, then I'm gonna let you get that out, and then we're gonna sit down and you're gonna say, now who did this? Who did? Because I need to know how much ire to direct at each person. I need to know who gets verbal, who gets physical. I need all the. When you just give me general, I can't fight for you.
We can find some. I don't personally have any aggression towards anybody who disagrees with me. Right? I can personally agree to disagree. At best, it just lets me know how fragile your confidence in yourself may be. To be honest, right? That's not a shot at all. I had to work on myself to learn how to accept things that maybe I believe to be true that aren't, or things about myself that I had to learn how to be confident in so that I could stand firm with what I believe in more, right? I'm not trying to ruffle anybody's feathers. I assumed it would ruffle some people's feathers.
Listen, there's so many things in life. People are always saying, don't take it personally. It's not personal. But these are personal. Finally, we get something personal, and I don't get the information I need to get out there. I'm just, I feel lost. I can't ignore this like you.
You got to.
No.
Listen to this.
That's right. You got to. You can't ignore this. You can't ignore the Can't Tell Us Nothing show when it's on.
Don't let them come for you, Antoine. I'm really okay, John. I'm not going.
Hold on. Let me let this guy finish this. This is important.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You hear what he just said? That was key.
What did he say? Repeat it.
He took a quarter of bottled water, right? It took a quarter to make a bottle of water, right? He invested in a company that makes takes him a quarter of a bottle that they actually produce, and he sold it for $250 million, right? This is a dude that grew up in the projects in Jamaica, Queens, probably drug dealing, right? That is an opportunity. Is it going to happen for everybody? No. But if you are relentless enough and there's an opportunity that you want to learn about, it's like you can participate. You do not have to rely on that system to finance your life, right? It becomes very dangerous at that point. It's not the argument for the whole conversation, but I just thought that the song, he said it, and 50 Cent, I'm sure 10, 15 years ago, you'd have been like, there's no way 50 Cent is going to be a billionaire. That person will be looking mighty stupid now, More to the story, don't ever tell somebody they can't be a billionaire. More to the story. I might have needed to hear that. Now it's time to go make my billions.
John, do you want to tell people what the hell you're talking about? You know, bring people in a little bit on what's going on here.
Of course. So, John, the finance guy, I work in finance. I love to talk about money and numbers and business. I posted something because, Jeff Bezos, Jeffy B.
Jeff Bezos.
Jeff the astronaut, Jeff the tax evader, or whatever people call him. Jeff Bezos. On paper, the world's wealthiest man. It sparked me. As a guy who studies finance, you study a lot of how these unicorn individuals emerge from the pack and amass these insane amounts of money. Finance is not a simple concept to understand. So there's not a lot of people that take finance. I understand that. But I decided to ask a more psychological question on Facebook, which was, why is there such, well, no, actually the question was, why do people care what these billionaires spend their money on, right? And knowing that I asked that question, I preface it by saying as well, most individuals I've met in this human existence don't like other people telling them how to spend their money, right? So what changes? Is it the dollar amount that changes? Is it the ideology that makes it worse? Is it because your cousin got fired from a job and you're like, he told me a horrible story? It could be a lot of things. My personal point was it still boils down to the individual having to exert energy about what someone else is doing that's not thinking about you, right? And they're not in your circle. So that was a question. None to say, I don't ever really post. And most of the time when I post things, I don't necessarily, I'm not looking for a whole bunch of people to comment. This one, I just felt like I want to see what people think. And there was a lot of comments on that section. And of course, people came at me, right, for even asking the question. What kind of question did that? It's a short-sighted question to ask. Somebody called me a billionaire sympathizer. We don't need any more sympathizers. Somebody standing up for the billionaires. Hint, buddy. Don't you want the billionaires on your side? Don't you want them to be on your side? Don't you want them to be like, yeah, try to do it, whatever? Nonetheless, I'm not sympathizing with them. I just asked the question, why do we care? Now, some of those questions, some of those answers I got were pretty morally fair, right? Morally fair, meaning these guys are not paying wages to what I think is livable, even though this guy just sent himself to the rocket ship. Great argument, but I got a counter to that argument as well. Somebody said they're hoarding all the money. I said, okay, got an argument for that. And then one person was just like, burn them all to hell. Not quoting them, but they just did not see anything good about a person wanting to pursue the enrichment, right? Which was essentially another question I asked. Is there a problem with enrichment? As a Black man, everywhere I see, everybody looks like they out here getting money, right? Through business ownership and real estate. But all of a sudden, I got to have a disdain against that. Even some people that employ me, for anybody who works for a major company, those people that sit on the boards of those companies, they have a lot of money. They are governing how you get paid, right? So I thought it was interesting to hear that. And of course, I've heard like a lot of obviously I grew up I'm not coming from rich birth. I'm not coming from any really money, right? Like I'm coming from very humble beginnings. I'm very close and connected to the low income and even the poverty group in this country, which by the way, the system is not designed to make people and poor people in this country have a good life, right? That is just not the system that we live in by any means. There's nothing proof about that, right? It is not set up for that. It's set up, to basically flow money upwards because those are the people that end up controlling these institutions, right? And my other point I didn't get to make was how much of the government should you point your hostility to? Because if you're a business owner and you're trying to, let's say your goal was to build this amazing company that was going to, make you fly to the moon and get Happy Meals. That was your dream. You worked your whole life. You built that in your garage. You gave up your full-time job, benefits, retirement, and security to build something. You attracted the best talent. You attracted investors and capital. You sold off equity and pieces of that company to scale that so that you can employ, what is it, like 500,000 people, I think Amazon employs. And then you decide to do an exit, which if anybody has ever invested, they tell you have an exit strategy. You exit and you're an extremely wealthy guy, right? But now you're the bad guy. To me, I just felt like we didn't have the points I was hearing really weren't looking at either how finance is traditionally done alongside with regulation, or they're looking at one symptom of the problem, and that becomes the thing that gets the most attention. But there's no solution to it. And without a solution, it just becomes megaphone. Megaphone can cause people to get unfriended, I guess, as I got on Facebook. where I ask questions, person doesn't know how to answer them. So they automatically assume that I'm not somebody that you should befriend. Well, whatever, right? Like, if I said, why is the sun red? I hope the answer shouldn't come back with some aggression. But there was some, right? There was some aggression there. And of course, I don't take anything personal. Shout out to the book 4 Agreements. If you've never read it, one of the rules, of the best rule is don't take anything personal from someone else, especially if you know you haven't done anything intentionally to them. Whatever that issue they have is with themselves.
Yeah, John, why do you think people take things personally sometimes?
I don't know why people take things personal. I know we're emotional. I think fundamentally, whenever you have a belief, it is extremely difficult for you to change that belief, especially if you are emotionally invested in it. Even if you find out that you are very wrong about that belief, the belief is more important than the actual action to some people. It's kind of like how we connected with religion, right? Like, the reason they say don't talk about politics and religion is because those are fundamentally tied to your belief system. And your belief system is, that's just dangerous territory, right? It's just dangerous. People do not want to change how they view something. It can mean giving up pieces of their identity. It can mean self-criticism. Man, I have been fucking up because I had this belief system and really I should have been using my abilities to go in this direction, having a more flexible belief system about how this thing works, right? But in that case, if I had asked, why do people get offended over that question? My thing is, I don't think you believe in yourself. That's the only thing. I was like, if you believe in yourself enough, you wouldn't get fired up, but you would go figure out how to solve it.
I did see I saw the post. I was reading some of the comments. It definitely, there's a lot more when I came back later. But I did see a few comments where people were trying to essentially do the math, but they were doing the math in like an hourly employee way. They were saying like, oh, I need to work this many hours to get this many billions in this many years. When that's not how billionaires make their money. They don't make it by the hour. They compound it, and then the money makes money on itself.
The asset grows its value, that generates cash flow, right? I've never heard of one billionaire that was getting paid $1 billion in salary, because a salary, even if you're a major league player, you're still working a job, which is why these athletes can get paid a salary with $200 million. And an owner can still say, shut your ass up, go play. An example of this is a Colin Kaepernick NFL situation, right? Oh man, that's cut dry, right? In one case, can a player speak their civil and their personal belief systems and actually act on those, even in a passive way inside an organization they don't own? That's a fundamental question. And the second thing, regardless of how spicy that belief thing or that situation is, there's still a layer of you don't have ownership in it. So you don't finally get to impose your will against the standard of how they operate. That's fundamental. If you don't believe me, go try to tell your boss, go fuck themselves. I don't like how you work, right? Hopefully they're good enough and know your will to keep you on board, but they don't have to work with you. They can go get someone else. There's tons of athletes coming out every year getting drafted. But the second thing was it was hard for me to reconcile his belief, which I'm personally identify with, where he was taking a knee for police brutality and a way to draw attention of it, was doing it with the most eyeballs in the country who would be in favor of all of that, would probably have to sit through it. One business owner said something. One of the owners said something that seemed pretty harsh, and I'm not going to quote it, but it was along the lines of, if he wants to do that, he should go start his own league, and he can knee as much as he wants, right? there's nothing wrong intrinsically about what that guy said, because essentially that's what they're doing, right? They have ownership, which means they have intellectual property, and its government sees them. They are managing and governing this organization that makes money. So they get to say what happens, even if they're wrong. That's why businesses build and die every day. But my point of bringing up Colin Kaepernick was kind of like the billionaire question. It's kind of like, well, there's two ways you can go about it. You can ruffle the feathers. Hopefully you get enough emotional support that swings these guys to give some leverage on what you do. But guess what? You still don't own it. So that leverage may come in the form of something, but the minute they can disattach themselves from you, you're out of there, which is why he's never going to get back in the league. And an argument I had with a player was, would you let somebody back in your company who basically made a public announcement of how much they didn't like you, how they thought you were, even if they were right? They basically shitted on you. They basically brought all this attention, all these lawsuits. As an owner of the company, you would say that person could go fuck themselves, right? As the owner. As an employee, you would have a different vision, right? You have a different view, but it's not a owner. This is not the robber band days of the 1920s. We have a lot more opportunity and access, even though the system still favors those who have the assets, even if they've got them for illegal circumstances, right? But my point is, like, why should you, in that situation, put so much effort into what they're doing versus what you are essentially capable of doing? That was where I wanted to go with that question. And I feel like that's a better solution. If you had 150 people or whoever was commenting on that, if all 150 of those people who did not like the fact that I brought it up and how distasteful those billionaires were working on solutions for those things, we would have a lot more opportunities for those things to be combated. But if I sit on my iPhone, Googling information about billionaires, buying books from Amazon, one click button, I'm funding these institutions that are using the money to avoid the tax, right? The tax payments that they have to make based on incentives, because you never heard the government come after Amazon, Google, or anybody for taxes. Why? If it was a problem the government thought, they would have been enforced it. Now they say, oh, we're throwing antitrust, this and that, but it hasn't been any movement. It hasn't been any movement, right? That's my point. That's my point. See, Kelly just asked a question. It just popped up, so I was like, okay.
Good. You got that out.
You feel better, John?
No, I don't know. It was already in his head. He just wanted to put that out here. That's what this platform is about. You had this is I back you. Billionaire sympathizer, future billionaire hater, whatever you are.
I'm not a hater. I'm not a hater. But I'll put future billionaire on my LinkedIn. Billionaire sympathizer, future billionaire on my LinkedIn from now on. No, of course I don't sympathize with billionaire. Of course I don't.
Yeah,
of course I don't. But it was crazy.
Why not? Everybody, even the devil need a birthday party. If it's a thing you believe in, like I believe in celebrating people's birthdays if they want to, for sure.
Absolutely,
Kelly. You can get one. You can get a hat.
Oh yeah.
We're going to post them in a couple of days.
We cut to Tandi's living room. Tandi, can I see a little something about this invitation on your end table here?
Yeah.
It looks like you got an invitation to Satan's birthday party.
Oh,
I didn't even know you were friends.
No, we're really not. No, we're really
are you gonna
not
go?
Friends. No, we're really not friends. But I am committed to celebrating birthdays. You know, doesn't matter to me who you are, what you've done.
Well,
I mean, I know there's some, I mean, it does matter. However, birthdays are my thing. Birthdays are my thing.
Yeah, but it's Lucifer. It's the devil. I mean, I think there's one birthday you can skip. It's probably that one, right, Tandi?
I mean, every birthday is important, Antoine. Everybody needs to be celebrated for being here. And I mean,
even the devil, though.
What's he
like? I wouldn't even know what his birthday party would consist of. And why are you getting an invitation? Like, what is your relationship with this guy?
Well, we went to college together just for a little while. He left; he couldn't stay. But we were in college together, and I kind of feel
you keep in touch.
Kind of, sort of, yeah, with Facebook and all. Like, he reached out, and I was like, I've got thousands of other friends. Why would I just turn my back on the devil? I mean, I knew him. I mean, he's a bad guy. I mean, but he's got some good points, right? He's encouraged.
Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm getting ready to go to Lucy's birthday too, man. Heard y'all talking about.
Right.
You're going too?
Hell yeah, I'm going to the devil's birthday, man. Shit.
Are you guys friends?
No. I'm not friends with him. You don't want to be friends with the devil. It's just kind of like I just knew him. I met him at a strip club one night. I didn't have no money to get in the club. He helped me out.
You took money from the devil.
See,
he didn't ask for money. He just said I was good.
He just let him in. Yeah, see, I told you he's got some good points. Mm-hmm. Yeah, strip club's probably not bad. I mean, not good, but he was helpful to John. So that's what I'm saying. So everybody's got something.
Tandi, did he help you out in some way?
Oh, well, yeah. I was failing a geography class. And I was like, oh gosh, how am I gonna get past things with this? And he's like, what are you worried about? I was like, I'm failing right now. I don't know what I'm gonna do. He's like, don't worry about it. Teacher didn't show up the next day, or the Friday after that, or even the next Monday. We get a report that he died, and I was like, that is so sad. But that was so good for me. See, that's what I'm saying.
That's awful. That's awful.
It helped me. I mean, what? Come on, Antoine.
This is heavy. I don't know if I could be.
I'm here. You guys ready to go to Lucy's party?
Antoine's holding me up. No. John's here. Everybody's ready.
Yeah, not you, Amici. You got an invitation too?
Yeah, and I got a +1 if you want to come.
You'll have fun, Antoine. I'm telling you, dude is really cool. He knows all the musicians, all of them.
All the
drugs are there. I mean, perfect drugs. Perfect.
Yeah. I mean, anything you want,
I like it.
You can imagine.
Yeah.
Tell you what, I'll just stop by to see how it looks. Just because my curiosity peaked, I'm leaving immediately. I'm gonna Uber on out.
No,
I don't think you could just see it. I think you're like it has to be like an all-in or nothing thing. And Lucy's not really into the middle gray area stuff,
Mm-hmm.
You talk like you really know him. Like you guys are close friends. I thought
I'm not a close friend. I told you when I was at the strip club, like he helped me out. Like I was having some issues with, my wife. We always arguing. And in that strip club, when he let me in, he sat me down and kind of showed me how to be a better husband.
The Satan.
Yeah.
At the strip club.
Yes.
How to be a better husband.
Absolutely.
Amici, did you take anything from Satan? Like, I feel like my friends are going crazy right now, making these sorts of deals. It seems. Is there anything?
Did I take anything from him?
No. Yeah.
I mean, I met him. Remember when I was working on Wall Street? I totally lied on my resume, but he was there on my first day. He showed me the ropes, showed me how to use, all the systems stuff, and how to trade. So yeah, I mean, he was great.
He just gave you onboarding training.
Yeah.
It's seen. He's doing a job.
She's doing a job.
See, help me out.
So
show
there's
me.
the printer over here. Bathroom down the hall.
Yeah.
If you treat them nicely, that's everybody wants to treat somebody bad, right? It's give them some encouragement. Try to be friendly. You never know.